Hello!
Welcome to the class.
Today the topic is teaching listening skills.
You that are a teacher and don't know how to teach and listening skill in your classroom, you should stay here.
One of the things more difficult to teach and learn is the listening skill. Therefore, it's important to know the techniques and strategies and methods that facilitate the development of dogs. That means when the teacher is in the classroom, his or her role should be to help the students to focus in the application of the one actively listening.
We like Professor must consider that when they are learning other language is necessary into the class can develop activities to foment them. The video will deal to focus in the techniques for teachers in their teaching process of one ability.
If there isn't a knowledge how to teach listening,
neither how to improve them.
Also, if isn't clear what strategy use,
this is the correct video and your better option.
First of all, we are going to explain what are listening skills. Listening skills are the ways to help you listen something more effectively, and it's a process that benefits to recognize paralinguistic clues. And with them, it's possible to develop that comprehension. It's possible to understand the mood or meaning of the message. In the classroom, it's important to develop and improve this skill because it's a way that allows to connect more with the language. Therefore, it helps students acquire a language subconsciously. Also, it provides vital information as grammar, structure, contextualization of new vocabulary, pronunciation, rhythm, stress, and intonation. Listening is the ability to accurately receive and interpret message in the communication process. Listening is key to all effective communication. Without the ability to listen effectively, messages are easily misunderstood. As a result, communication breaks down, and the sender of the message can easily become frustrated or irritated. To be an effective listener means that you not only listen or hear what is being said, you understand what you are listening to. Being able to understand what is being said provides you the opportunity to use that information to your benefit in all areas of your life. Listening is the most critical communication skill. Students are involved in various listening situations 65% to 90% of the time, but most students have little or not in listening instruction. Little listening instruction may be due to the lack of preparation, time, or material. In addition, teachers may be uncertain whether they are a good listener themselves and may, therefore, hesitate to teach this skill. Listening is a fundamental language skill, but is often ignored by foreign and second language teachers. That is why our job is to help them become adept at this kind of multi-skilling when listening to English. This is what Jeremy Harmer 27 mentions.
The question is to know why young people are interested in acquiring a new languages. So, the main reason that students want to learn to listen is to understand what they speak in English. Since in their daily life they are in contact with many media, such as TV, radio, cinema, music. This skill is very useful for the correct pronunciation of words and understand the difference between countries and their context. Students must learn to differentiate the types of English. most incentives because they want to learn is that the subjects they learn are interesting for them. Already has material available, but this doesn't prevent us from creating our own material that is interesting and innovative. Different kind of listening. Intensive listening refers to listening to what the students often do outside of the classroom, for pleasure or for some other reason, like music in the car, videos on internet, and music. Extensive listening, this refers to the material that is used in the classroom, as audiobooks, CD conversations, and the material that comes with the English books, which are used both in the classroom and outside of it for daily tasks. All this helps you improve your grammar, pronunciation, expand your vocabulary, and your auditory comprehension. Some tips to improve and train your hearing is to listen to people of different accents, repeat the audios, imitate the singers. You should also make the most of internet that give us access to much material and techniques.
The current view of the lesson as the man is sanitary proves necessary. The more comprehensive approach to the teaching listening to the learners meet the challenge of the real-life listening. Teachers evaluate student comprehension based on the occurrence of their comprehension and proceed to the next activity. Implicit there is the focus on the result. The process of the listening is in the from correct answer. This approach teaches student listening comprehension information that they file at a certain point, but doing little to wait who the listen that is to help them understand why they wrong with their listen and who it could be repaired. The role of the student, the process visual listening has changed to the real listening from someone who was taught to possibly recite to the spoken messaging to end a cheat precedent in the act. Translates into the realities of the classroom teaching. It means that the students take responsibility of their own learning how to listen.
Continue with the principle for teaching listening. The first, integrate listening practice into the course. Don't assume it just happens. Appeal to students' intrinsic motivation. Include local culture and pre-existing schema. Use authentic language and context. Highlight relevance to real-life needs. Consider how a student will respond. Listening cannot be seen. Infer comprehension. Include both bottom-up and top-down listening. And the last but not less important is teach listening strategies. In considering listening, it is useful to know the items identified as strategies that are used by successful listeners. Predicting one of them, and this is effective listeners think about what they will hear. Inferring the second. It is useful for the listener to listen between the lines. Third, monitoring. Good listeners notice what they do and do not understand. Fourth, clarifying. Efficient listeners ask questions and give feedback to the speaker. 5. Responding. Learners react to what they hear. And 6. Evaluating. They check on how well they have understood.
In this part of the video, I'm going to talk about the levels of English and how to help students to improve them, where they should take into account some steps like this. 1. Manage high performance in all other senses. 2. Have great dedication and attachment to language. 3. Listen to everything and as much as you can in the language you're learning. With the test 3 tips, the student will manage to manage a level of authentic listening and will be able to demonstrate their talents to listening and to translate. In their mean a radio advertisement, a television program, a song, or perhaps a conversation between two natives and that. This is included in order to improvise more and more the language that you learn. Auditory learner sees what is learning when the student applies it to speech as well. As teacher, we must also bear in the mind that many times students take pronunciation as the word is greeting, and it is one is the biggest mistakes. Also explain that there are different types of accents. We are also used contraction and some words are pronounced with different emphasis. Exists some in English that not exist in Spanish. It's very important remember this. For his as a teacher devotes a quiet and healthy speech while practicing with your student the action of listening and interpreting.
Now let's talk about listening sequence. We will see that they are on different levels but that they are related to each other. Example number 1, live interview. In this first example, we will see the famous interview, where the teacher takes as a strategy to ask a series of questions. These questions depend on the level of English they are in. Sometimes it is a good idea for a student to discover how to be better is by asking the question, what do you like to do? Or what is their favorite music? With children, it is recommended to use puppets or masks and ask them to write about what they are listening about the character. Example number 2. In the second example, by taken, we can see the students predict what they will listen and the involves and general and detailed understanding work. The student will have some images and a list of words will be delivered to be placed in the right place. Then you will hear audio that will need to match the picture above. Sample number 3. The student listens to a recorded authentic interview. However, is this interview the one who is responding will not do it with short phrases. The student will be shown an image on the right side so they can speculate how is the person, where is the person from. It is also recommended to read the question before listening to the audio. Remember, the teacher can repeat the audio as many times as necessary.
Who is easier to understand to listen is the use strategy that facilitates learning to achieve the concentration and use tools. As imagines that you can relate with the sounds. Music could be a good idea too. Videos, movies, and TV show. Some teachers, however, think that the video is less useful. But the teacher listens that the audio perceived because with the visual sense engaged as well as the audio sense, students pay less attention to why they are actually hearing. We have to choose video material according to the level and interest of our students. For learning more easily, I had some tips for you. The first, listen things that you like it. Second, try listening persons that talk with different accents. Third, use the transcription. And the last, listen to several times.